This automation turns the likes and comments on your LinkedIn posts into paying clients. You can take any LinkedIn post you've ever created and then immediately scrape anyone who's liked or commented on it. And you do this using a series of scrapers. Then you're able to create an Airtable with a list of anyone who's ever engaged in your content. Once you've done that, you can enrich that lead further using more scrapers where you scrape their LinkedIn profile and their company profile. This allows us to qualify the lead using AI in our automation to figure out if they're the right fit for our business. And if they are, then use another tool to get their contact details. Once we have that, we're then able to run an automation to write a personalized email to them. And this is sent directly to our draft inbox, ready for us to send to this lead with one click. And then the final thing to top it off is we get a Slack notification. So here you can see in my Slack, I get the name of the lead, their LinkedIn profile, the post they engaged with, and the exact email the AI wrote for me. So all I need to do is go into my inbox, and with one press of a button, that gets sent off. So this is the automation we're going to go through. And it's really powerful because normally to do all of this, you would have to spend hours going through your LinkedIn engagement, find someone who looks interesting, click into their profile, see what company they work for, figure out if they're qualified, then read all their posts, their about section, maybe try to use AI to write an email to them and then send that off. And then you're just done doing that for one person. You have to do that another 50 times. This automation automates all of that away, saving you lots of time. And if you're not using this strategy already, giving you a way of bringing in more clients to your business. So I'm going to take you through exactly how we build this. And we're going to break this video down into 5 steps. The first step is I'm going to take you through the strategy of how this automation is broken down so you can really understand how we go from A to Z to make this work. Next, I'm going to take you through the tech stack and all the tools we're using to make this automation work. The third thing is for anyone who wants to create this at home, I'm going to take you through node by node how this works so you can build it yourself. And for people who stick around to the end of the video, I've got 2 more surprises. One, I'm going to show you an even more advanced version of this automation. Because with this current automation, you're able to bring in your LinkedIn posts and run this automation and get all the valuable information, but it's not constantly running in the background. I'm going to show you how to tweak this so it's always running. So anytime anyone engages, this automatically works. So really valuable stuff. The final surprise I'll give you right at the end is the price. So if you want to build this yourself, you're using lots of different tools, and I'm going to show you exactly how much it costs when you use all those tools to get one lead. So you understand from a pricing perspective if this is right for you. So that's the video. Let's dive into it. The first thing I want to do is show you how you can get this automation yourself. So I run a community for a lot of entrepreneurs who are trying to use AI to improve their business. So they're using it to cut costs, save time, and scale. And in the classroom section, I have here where we have AI sales automations and agents. I've added all the different links you would need from this video. So to get the workflow, you want to click the first link and you want to download this file. Once you've downloaded it, you can go into N8N, click import from file, and then just bring in the file you download. And there you go, you have the automation. All you need to do is set up your credentials. So now you know how to set this up. Let me take you through exactly how it works. Because I know it can look kind of intimidating when you see something like this, and there's so many nodes and there's arrows everywhere, and especially if you're a beginner, this can feel like a lot. But what I want to do is take you through every single step so you're able to build this yourself within your business. So let's go into it. Let's get away from this now, and I've created this flowchart just to take you through all the steps that are going on, and it's going to make looking at that chart much easier. So starting from the top, the first thing that's happening is someone's going to like or comment on your LinkedIn post. You need to be posting on LinkedIn and getting engagement. And if you have a business, then this is a very valuable way of getting clients. Or if you're trying to sell this as a service, this is extremely valuable for clients to be doing. So assuming you're doing that, all you need to do is take the LinkedIn post URL, and then What we do is we use a platform called Apify to scrape all the engagement data. Apify is just basically a host of scrapers, web scrapers, which allows us to get information from different social media sites. So we're able to use this to get a list of everyone who's commented and liked on our LinkedIn posts. And this is through NA10, but we use an Apify API. So just a way of communicating with their service. Once we've got this list of leads who've engaged with our content, we want somewhere to store it. So what we use is Airtable. Airtable is a database where we can upload different lead data and have our information in structured datasets. So that's what we do. We upload our valuable lead dataset. Once we have that in Airtable, the next step is to enrich this data. We want to understand more about the people who are engaging with us. What's their roles? What company do they work for? What's their company size? So what we do is we go back to Apify and we use a few more of their scrapers. We use a LinkedIn profile scraper and a company scraper to get rich information about who they are. And once we have this and we've brought it into Airtable again, we're then able to use AI to qualify our leads. We only want to be reaching out to people who could potentially buy our service. So in our automation, we create these rules that tell the AI how to figure out who's our ideal customer profile. And then the AI is able to sift through all our data and figure that out. So if they find people that are not our ideal customer profile, they get tagged as that, and that's updated in our database. If they are qualified, we move on to another step. And in this case, we want to find out their email. We want to find out their phone number so we can reach out to them. So we use a service called Hunter to do this. And then if we're able to find their email, we update this into Airtable again, and then we're able to write a personalized email. And this email is very, very good. And that's because we've just scraped all of their LinkedIn and company information. So we know their about section, we know the description of their company. And not only that, this is different from normal cold outreach because this person already knows who you are. They've engaged with your social media post, so that immediately gives us a hook into this email. And we can say, hey, I saw you engaged with my post. Then you write something else that's personalized. Then you give your offer in the email. So this is really, really effective. And then the final bit is if you want, you can send that email off straight away. But a lot of people want to check it, proof check it is not going off to the wrong people. So then instead, you can just make it so that this email gets sent to your draft inbox. And then the final thing that happens is you get a Slack notification. And that's what I showed you before. So that's the workflow step by step. I think broken down like that, it looks a lot more manageable than what's on the left. But this isn't too complicated as well when you really break it down and look into it. So now we have that. Before I show you the breakdown node by node, I just want to show you the different tools we're going to be using so you have an idea for how all of that works. So the first one I've mentioned a few times now is Apify. So Apify, if I go into it, it's a really great website for scraping the internet. They have lots of different specialized scrapers that allows you to get data from the internet and bring it into NA10. So they have quite a few here. I know if you go to their store, they have lots that are really good for scraping social media sites. So you check those out. There's one for Apollo, lots of different ones. The ones we're using specifically are their LinkedIn ones. And the reason why I really like this is because you don't need any logged in details. LinkedIn is really good at spotting automation and it can put your account at risk unless you do it the right way. So using these Apify scrapers, we're able to get the information we want without risking our account. So the first one we're using is this LinkedIn post reaction scraper. So what this does is it allows us to see a list of everyone who's liked our post. Then we're using this LinkedIn post comment scraper. So anyone who's commented on our posts, we can get that as well. We've got a couple more. Another one is LinkedIn profile detail scraper. So once we have that list of people who've engaged with us, we get all their information through this one. So this is like their about section, the companies they worked for, their tagline, all that good stuff. And the final one is LinkedIn company detail. So once we know the company they work for, we find out more information about the company. Like, what's the company size? What's the company description on LinkedIn? So then we have this rich abundance of data. In order to enrich this and get their email and phone numbers, I'm using a software called Hunter. And I think that's about it, except for the final piece of tech, which I'm going to bring you to in the end, which is how to make this a bit more autonomous. But we'll get to that in the end. But that's the initial tech stack you're going to be using. So now you know the tools you're going to be using. Let me show you how this works node by node. And the final one, which I didn't mention, is Slack to get notifications. But this is more of an optional step. You don't have to do this. So yeah, let's go into it. So this is the automation. And the way it works is the first thing we're going to be doing on the top level is scraping engagement from LinkedIn posts. So this is getting that list of people who have liked and commented. Once we've done that, this red section here is us enriching the lead data with LinkedIn company and profile data. Those are the scrapers I just mentioned. Here on the green section, we are qualifying the leads using AI with our specific criteria, and I'll show you exactly how you can set that up. Then we're getting the contact information using Hunter. And then this final bit is writing the personalized email and sending it off to our draft inbox and giving us a Slack notification. So that's the top level breakdown. We'll go through this node by node because I want you to know exactly how you can build this yourself. So first thing I do is I say add your API key and your LinkedIn post. So I've created a section here where you want to remove this and add your own API key. So this is just off a free account that I'm using at the moment, but you want to add this, add your own. And sorry, the nice thing actually is you can do all of this and test it out without paying anything. So Appify and Hunter and Airtable all have free trials, allow you to test this out with a few posts without needing to pay anything. So you can follow along if you want to. Cool. And then you want to add your LinkedIn posts. So to get this post, you want to go into your LinkedIn. You want to click this three dots and write copy link to post. And that's going to be how you get it. I did a post here about AI UCG back in LinkedIn. So now you have that post, you want to paste it in here. And the first thing we do is we have this HTTP node to get the people who have commented. So I'm not going to go down into the technical elements of how you can create this. If you want to learn a bit more about how you can do this, in the community, there's information I go through of how you can set this up in NA10. But for now, I'm just going to say this is the step you can take, and you're going to get this in the automation when you download it. So I've set this up for you so you don't need to do it again. But if you're trying to take your learning deeper, then I have an entire course teaching you a bit more about the technical side of how to use APIs, what even is an API at the most basic level, and all the technical side behind NA10. But for now, I'm just going to be showing you this from a top level. So here we have the endpoint we're using, which is basically how we communicate with Appify, and we have our specific authentication. And this is what we're pulling in from the previous node. And then here we just have the LinkedIn posts. So this gets a list of all the people that have commented. So we can see 9 people commented on my LinkedIn post. Now this Airtable node, the way it's set up is we want to update the people who have commented. So all you want to do is you want to add your credentials. So you go through and add your Airtable credentials. If you press create new, and then you can go on documentations. So that's here, open docs, and that's going to take you through exactly how to set up your Airtable credentials. So once you've set that up, you're then able to pull in your Airtable, and you then want to match the right rows. So where we have our comments scraped, we want to make sure we just add it to our right spaces in our Airtable. So I'm pulling in the full name, the post URL, the LinkedIn tagline, and the comment. This is what we're getting from the first scraper. And if you just see, I can take you through the Airtable, because if you want to create this step by step, what I'd recommend is just look at what I've created here, and we'll go through very quickly all the columns and just copy it exactly. I've got full name, first name, last name, profile link. We have the post URL, tagline. They've liked the post. They've commented. What the actual comment is. Comment time you can skip. You have the about section from their LinkedIn, the company name, company LinkedIn URL, You have the title, company description, industries, founded year, employee number, website. You can see there's a lot of data. And then we have the qualification status, and then finally the email. So you can see you're getting lots of data, but what I'll say is just create this Airtable with all these columns before you do this N8N automation to make your life a bit easier. So assuming you've set that up, what you then do is you've got the Apify scraper here, and you just map in all these data from here into this Airtable column to upload it and update it. And at this point, we have this merge node, because as you can see from this Airtable, there's 9 different items coming out. What we want is for the next scraper, where we get the likes, we don't want it to run 9 times. So we just have this merge node to make it so that we only run the scraper once. So this is just a bit of an N8N hack to allow us to properly execute the next node, which is the Apify like scraper. And again, I've already set up this for you, so I've done the hard work. You just run this with your API key, and then you're able to get a list of every single person who's liked your LinkedIn post. And once you have that, you can update your Airtable, you can merge your data, and then we get to enriching the lead data with LinkedIn profile and company data. So we have another one here where we're using Apify to get all the LinkedIn profile information, and we get really valuable information of their headline, location, follower count, connections, employment type. So there's so much there. And what you can do is you can pick and choose what you want and update your Airtable if you want anything that I haven't included. We're really good to go through this. Then I want to update this into Airtable again. So again, this is how I've set this up. I'm just matching this on the full name. So what this works is when you're updating something in Airtable, it needs a column to match on. So from your inputs, it needs to say, okay, what is the same from your inputs that matches this column so I know how to update it? So that's all that's happening there is I'm saying, okay, we have the full name. You already have the full name in the Airtable. Use these two to match. And then of that row, update with this information. And this is the information we scraped from the profile Apify API. Then all we're doing here is checking if they have a company URL. And if they do, we then want to scrape the company information. Again, just the Apify API. And then once we get that in our Airtable, we want to update all the company information. So we're updating the company LinkedIn URL, the description, industries, when it was founded, the employee numbers. This is all useful information to help qualify the company. From there, we want to qualify the leads. So let me take you through exactly how I'm doing this. I'm using an OpenAI messenger model node, and I have a user prompt and a system prompt. So my system prompt, what I'm saying is, your job is to decide if a lead is qualified or not. Use the lead job title, industry, and company size as the qualification criteria. But then I give it some rules. So my requirements are, job title is director level and above. Industry can be any industry, and company size has to have a minimum of 5 people. Now these are just placeholder ones, but what you can do is you can change these or add whatever you want to narrow down on your industry. And then on the user prompt, all you're doing is you're feeding in the data you've scraped. So it has the job title, it has the industry, the employee count, and their full name. So now it's able to qualify, and what's going to output their full name and their qualification status. So it's going to say qualified or not qualified and their full name. So once we have that, we're going to use this set node to extract that. So we can see here, this person is not qualified. And then we're going to update those statuses in Airtable. So this is how, if we go to Airtable now, I have a list of people that are either qualified or not qualified. So now we go back into our automation and we can get the contact information. So what I'm doing here is I'm making sure we have a website field. I'm seeing that they're qualified, and then I'm filtering out their website domain. So let me just break this down. Here, we're just making sure that we're getting the right format for their website. That's all we're doing here. Then we're saying if their qualification status equals to qualified, to make sure the lead we're getting are only qualified. So you see people that are not qualified leave our branch. And then we just make sure that there is a website domain. Because in order to enrich the field and try to find the email, there's a few requirements from Hunter, which is the service we use. And that is we need a first name, a surname, and a website domain. So that's exactly what we do here. We give it their domain, their first name, and their last name. Then we're able to try to enrich this data and find out what their email is, if their phone number is available. So through these, I'm able to find their emails and then update this in Airtable here. And the final thing is I check, as long as it's been successful, you want to check that you have found the emails. If that's true, we go on to the final step. And in this final step, what we're doing is writing the personalized email. And this part I get really excited about. It's because normally AI emails sound very much like AI, and they're not always the best. But with this automation, you're actually able to write a very, very powerful email that's very difficult to tell is AI. And let me show you why. The first thing is you're responding to someone who's actually engaged with your post. This isn't just a cold email. It's someone who's fairly warm. They've seen you and at least gotten some value from your content. The second reason is because we just scraped so much information from their LinkedIn that we know where they work. We know their LinkedIn about description. We know what their company description is. So we can use all of that to write a hyper-personalized email with AI. And let me take you through how I prompted this to get a really good output. So I'll go through the prompt. And what I say is, your job is to write a very short personalized email. You are a world-class email copywriter. You know how to write emails that feel very human and are complete opposite from the normal sales and robotic-like emails that a business normally sends. I think this is really important because you really need to push AI to not be very corporate. It loves going to the corporate slang and it sounds really bad. So you really need to push it to not do that. And then you say you are reaching out to people who have engaged with a LinkedIn post of mine. You want to give it the context. And then give it the structure of how I want it to write the email. Honestly, you can just steal this, but if you want to have your own structure, you would change it here. But what I'm saying is the first sentence, we want to say that we saw they engaged with our post. Second sentence, we want to say, make this personalized about them and their company. And the third sentence is we just want to say it would be really great to chat about how their company could benefit. And here I'm saying AI automation and agents. But for your case, you just want to put whatever you do. And then you can sign off. And what makes a really good email is having a great PS. So I don't even say what the PS should be. I just say add a PS that you think would be good. When I tested this, it always comes out really good because it gives a PS that's directly linked to the information I'm giving it. So you can see in some of the examples I have where it's like, PS, I saw your book about ChatGPT, super cool, would love to hear what inspired you to write it. They're super personalized. So really good personalizations when you do this. So if we go back to the automation, then able to give it the information it needs to do all of that. So in the user prompt, I'm telling it the first name, the LinkedIn about section, and the company description. And that is how we write the email. And the thing it outputs, actually, I didn't go over that, is we just want to get the email, the subject line, and the email body. So that's what we're doing here. That gives us the email. We then use this set node to just extract all that content because ChatGPT returns a bunch of information that we don't need. You can see here. And then we set up this Gmail node so that it can immediately send that email to our draft inbox, which is what you saw here. Sends it to our draft inbox. And then after that, we get a Slack notification where I've set it up here where it can tell us new lead alert, name, LinkedIn, and the post they've engaged with, and email draft. So you can set this up however you like. You just need to connect to Slack credentials, which is really easy. You just log in, and these are the settings I've used. So that's the core automation itself. This is probably one of the most powerful automations I've ever created, just because it not only saves you time, but it directly makes you money through engaging leads. So really, really powerful automation. I don't want to leave you there. I want to show you how you can make this even better with a few caveats. So as you can see, by doing this, you need to find a post you've already created, and then you're manually adding the LinkedIn URL here, and you're going through this automation. So it's still saving you a lot of time, but there is a bit of a manual element. you want to take this up a level, what you can do is use a service called Phantom Buster. So Phantom Buster is a LinkedIn automation service where you can connect your LinkedIn credentials, and in real time, it's just always going to be searching for any new engagements to any LinkedIn post you've created. And when it detects that, it's going to shoot this into your NA10 automation and then activate this straight away. So this skips that whole manual step of you putting in your LinkedIn profile. The reason why I've not led with this, even though it's really powerful, is because this does come with some risk. So with these kind of solutions like Phantom Buster, what you're doing is you're downloading a Chrome extension and you're connecting your LinkedIn account. LinkedIn really doesn't like when you do that. And it's very good at detecting automation. So if you overuse services like this, there is a risk that your LinkedIn could get suppressed or even banned if you take it too far. So this is just something you need to be aware of. And the way I've set this up is to limit this as much as possible if you want to use this option. So for one, I have the option of using Phantom Busters to do the LinkedIn profile and company enrichment, but I'm not. I'm using Amplify because it's safer. And I'm only using it for the one thing that it can do and I can't do elsewhere, which is this real-time monitoring of lead engagement. So that's what the tech stack I'm using here to make this better. And what's really nice is NA10 has a node for Phantom Busters. So this is the node here. And what it does is it returns all the different information about the lead and whether they liked, what their comment is. It doesn't give you as much information about their profile and company description, so we still go through and scrape that, but it gives you a decent amount. And the way we get this automation working is through a webhook. So we can see we have a webhook here. And what I've done is, when you set this up, let me show you. To do setup, you go through these steps. And the way to connect this with NA10 is in advanced settings, you go to webhooks. And what you have here is you want to go back to your NA10, click this, go to production URL, make this post, and then copy this. And then when you go back into Phantom Busters, you can paste this, save settings, and you want to make sure you have an active workflow. So you turn this on. So what's going to happen now is Phantom Busters, whenever it's updating, whenever it just scans your LinkedIn in the background, if there's any new engagement, it's going to use what's called a webhook, which is this. And a webhook is just a way in which two softwares can speak to each other. Phantom Busters can be like, hey, NA10, here's some information. And the webhook is just like a way for which for them to guide information. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And that's how you're able to take this up a level, but just being aware of the potential risks. If you want a little bit less manual input, then this is a great solution as well. So one final bit that a lot of people always ask me when I'm doing videos like this is, Omar, how much does it cost? So that's why I went ahead and I calculated this for you to answer that. So in terms of the first solution, so not using Phantom Busters, but only Amplify, I've gone through the costs and I've done it on a basis of 1,000 units. The real number you care about is price per lead. So for every lead that goes through this process, you're paying about 3 cents. So for 1,000 leads, you're paying $34. So if you're a business and you think you can convert one lead in 1,000, right? You can immediately see dollar signs going through your eyes right now. So really, really valuable. Phantom Busters is a bit more expensive. Price per lead is 9 cents. So for 1,000 leads, it's more like $93. So again, if you don't sell anything, I think this is quite expensive. But if you're a business, this is probably more suited to you because you're going to make this back. Get one client and you've paid for this for like several years, right? So this is the pricing information. But yeah, that's the entire workflow. If you've enjoyed this and you found this valuable, what I would recommend you do is either go through and join my free school community. You can meet lots of other entrepreneurs who are also trying to learn together and learn how to use AI in their business. If you're ready to take this a step further and really push your NA10 learning, I then recommend my private community, which is AI Agent Skilled Pro. That's because I have lots of different courses teaching you how to use NA10, taking you from a beginner to advanced, taking you through technical concepts, I build sales automations and marketing automations that you can bring into your business. We do stuff like vibe coding masterclasses and a lot more. And also, you're surrounded by people who are also deeper into their journey and that you can network with. So, yeah, those are your two options to really take your learning deeper. I hope you found this video valuable, and I'll catch you next time.